It's the Couscous Starlight Indicator, everybody. Let's go. And a happy Wednesday to everybody out there. It is another installment of the Indicator Profile series, and we have a user-submitted indicator today, which we really like. Usually when you all send one in, one, we've never heard of it, and two, whether it tests out well or not, we still add it to our library, so we do appreciate the submissions. If you would like to submit your own, I will tell you how later in the video if you don't already know. But let's go ahead and get into this one now if you're new. Enjoy the video, I guess. It's not going to make a lot of sense. What you need to be doing is going here to nononsenseforex.com. Read the first page, watch the first video, get caught up. It's going to take time, but you will be well versed on this system of trading for the rest of your life. So it's time well spent. But for those of us who are already there, let's go ahead and get into the specs of the Couscous Starlight Indicator. The year is going to be 2017. This will be a confirmation indicator. Technically a zero cross. It does change colors. There's other versions. You'll see what I mean in a moment. And then as far as exits go, I don't love it for this purpose. So like I said, user submitted this week. A big shout out to Anna P from Norway for this one. And let's go ahead and see what it looks like. It looks like this. Kind of sticks with the whole Starlight theme, doesn't it? So for those who don't know or who are relatively new to the series, we use you can't really see it, but it's the Euro-Dollar Daily. For the sake of consistency. No cherry picking here. We show you the same one all the time. And what this one is going to do, really kind of ignore this line right here. It's going to throw you off a little bit. When the stars turn blue for the very first time, that's going to be your signal to go long. And then when they turn magenta, that is your signal to go short. Pretty simple. Now, you might get a situation to where there's a little bit of crossover when the signal lands right on the line. So we zoomed in a little bit and you can see still short, and then this little star, little X here is the first one on the next period, and that's going to be long. Now it dips back the other way and you end up with a signal that's really close to the actual line. So you have to actually maybe even scroll over it and look in your data window and see if that's a positive or negative number. It shouldn't happen too often. It should be pretty easy to see, but for those rare times where it doesn't, you may need to either zoom in a little bit or check your data window. But for the most part, pretty easy to read. And if you look at the example, pretty good signals too. It does run a bit slower, so might be a good idea for your second confirmation indicator. But the only defined losses right here, and that's a pretty small one, which means likely the rest of your algorithm made it so you weren't even in that trade. So let's see how this thing did. Now understand, no matter how it does here, you have to test it in your system. If I show you great results, don't get too hyped up. If I show you subpar results, don't sit there and say, well, I'm not going to test this in my system. Big, big mistake. It doesn't take long. Go ahead and do it no matter what. Now, if you don't know how to do it, I have shown you down below in the links. You're going to get a link to my automation blog that has an embedded video on how to test this yourself on the MT4 Strategy Tester. You're going to get the blog. Oh, and I forgot to mention, in the blog, if you didn't like how potentially confusing this indicator can be when it gets close to the zero line like that, there is a histogram version of this in the blog itself. So that might be a little easier to see. And also the place most people go when they're done with this video, they go to Dan's video, so you can get a secondary look at this, be able to see this thing move in real time, get maybe a bit of extra analysis that I don't give you. And then if you also want to become an Indicator Profile Series contributor, you go to Dan's second email address, which is also posted down below. You do not go in the comments section and say, VP, can you test this? That is a surefire way to make sure I will never test this. Go here, submit it. Admittedly, the majority of them don't make the show, but you can't win if you don't play. And then, the most popular place in all of the information superhighways, the Indicator Library, where you can download the Couscous Starlight Indicator and every indicator we have profiled here on the Indicator Profile Series. So, let's go ahead and see how this did, starting with the Euro-Dollar. Now, you guys have known in the past 2 or 3 weeks, indicators have just underperformed the Euro-Dollar. It might just be the market, but not this time. Big gains on the fiber. And solid total trades too, in my opinion. Not too many, not too few. Great win-loss ratios, and look at that ROI. Sick, sick, sick. We rarely get ROI results like this on the Euro USD. So we are off to a very, very good start. Let's see how gold is doing. Okay, much better on the 4 hour, actually. Very good on the 4 hour. On the 1 year, I mean, who's going to hate 18% in one indicator? Probably nobody. But we've gotten into the 30 percentile range lately, actually, if I recall. So this one underperforms just a bit on gold. Now over to the S&P, however, this is excellent. 9% is very strong on the S&P, and if you guys remember, 4-hour traders on the S&P really had their moment in time about a month or 2 or 3 ago, and then a little bit of a dip, but now it might just be back because this is great. Indices traders, stock traders, take note. That is crazy, crazy good for the S&P. Finishing it off with Bitcoin. So kind of a high-low, high-low. You know, these are not really great numbers for Bitcoin compared to what we've seen in the past. Again, who is really going to hate on 22%? Not me. But for a user submission, this one performed really well on 2 pairs, one of them being Forex. And I would say since almost all of us here on this channel are Forex traders, that one counts a little bit more than the rest of them do. So, nice job, Anna P. Thanks for the awesome indicator. We will be back with more next week as we always do. Subscribe, hit the bell, don't miss anything. Trading Psychology Podcast every other Monday. Indicator Profile Series every Wednesday. Blog sometimes on Thursday, and then the 10-Minute Contrarian Investing Podcast every Saturday. I think 2024 is going to be wild. I think they're going to throw everything they can at us, and you better be ready because if you are, you can come out the other side really, really well. Stick on this channel, subscribe, hit the bell. Go get it.